Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. I'm Mike Amos. I hope you're having a good morning. It is raining cats and dogs, as one of our superlatives around here. If you wanted to put it, Steve wouldn't unlock the door and I laid out in the rain this morning. Steve wouldn't do this and Steve wouldn't do that. And I was late getting ready and Steve wouldn't do that and Steve wouldn't do that. I'm being facetious, ladies and gentlemen. If I get up early enough, I'd be here and not have to worry about, having things on time. But of course, I hope you're doing well this morning on a Thursday. And of course, everybody's talking about rain, but what I'm concerned about is 20-degree temperatures next week. Steve, can you give us some kind of long-term forecast? Let's see if Steve can run something down on the computer up there. From what I gather, there are going to be 2 or 3 days next week that's going to have 20-degree temperatures. And, man, I don't look forward to that at all. Know this cup of Hills and Brook coffee sure is good every morning. Steve gets here in plenty of time to fix the coffee, and he's probably gone through a half day's work before I get here. But it's a great day, though, especially if you've got to be inside. People ask me sometimes, do I like the rain? Well, as long as I'm inside, I like the rain and so forth. Of course, Troy got beat by the former arch rival Jacksonville State, and Troy was off to a pretty good start, but drops them now to 4-4 on the year. Jacksonville State had lost 5 games in a row coming in here and played well against Troy last night. Troy opened the game with 3 big runs, a big home run, and get into the top of the second inning, and they give up back-to-back home runs to Jacksonville. And it was and Bay Witcher, who is a phenom guy, or they thought he was a phenom guy out of Georgia, had this just remarkable record coming into Troy this year. Not saying he's not going to be good and not good now, but boy, they jumped him pretty good. He pitched 2 innings and gave up 3 runs, 2 hits and 3 walks. When you give away 3 walks, you're hurting yourself, and you can't win. Hey, I thought that was smart for Coach Smart to go ahead and get him out of there. If he walks 2-3 batters in the first inning or the first 2 innings, you need to do something with him. But he's going to be a good one, and no question about it. Troy, it was a tie ball game up to about the 4th inning, and then the Gamecocks erupted for 3 runs, and they won that ball game. The Eagles and the Eagles of Goshen defeated New Brockton 65 yesterday. Big win for the Eagles. They go now. I think. Let's see. That was their 3rd or 4th victory, and of course the Pike Liberal Arts Patriots held off Lee Scott yesterday 4-3 with the win. Pike extends their record to unbeaten so far, and of course they ran into a pretty tough team last night in Lee Scott. How you like my attire today? I tell you, I decided I wasn't going to go out and get sweaters wet and whatever this morning. You're on Today in L.A. We're live on Facebook across the country and across the world.
Hey, morning.
Where are you calling from, sir?
Calling from Mountain Brook today.
Mountain Brook's got a big game today against what a lot of people think is good basketball team in the state, Robert E. Lee of Montgomery.
Yeah, it should be a good one. It's going to be interesting to see if Robert E. Lee can slow down Wofford, and if they can stop Mountain Brook from hitting too many 3-pointers. That's kind of how they win the game, with one great player and then a lot of really good role players. They also had the kid that transferred in from Simpson Valley. That's a really good player as well. Shockey shocking loss yesterday by Ramsey. So Charles Henderson doesn't even get beat by the state champion. Ramsey falls yesterday in the Final Four to Madison Academy.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. My weatherman has reported today the high 72, the low is 60 with 8 mile an hour winds. The humidity is 86%, and it is showing rain showers all day today. On Friday, tomorrow, you got some cloudy skies in the early part of the day, and then it's going to, the high's going to be 73 and the low's going to be 58, getting a little bit cooler with 8 mile an hour winds. Scattered thunderstorms for Saturday here in Troy and surrounding areas. The high 73, the low 61, so pleasant temperatures. On Sunday, we start seeing it start to drop a little bit. Scattered showers or thunder showers on Sunday. 70-degree high, 40-degree low, and it starts to come down, down, down. The winds are at 15 miles per hour. That's pretty cold, even if it was just 41, wouldn't you say? And Monday...
I mean, there's 3 days next week. They're supposed to be in the 20s.
And here we go. Monday, the high is 55, the low is 34 with 11 mile an hour winds. Then on Tuesday, you got partly cloudy skies. The high is 51, the low is 26. And then on Wednesday, the sun comes back out, but hear this. The high 50 degrees, the low 29 degrees. And then it starts going back up a little bit on Thursday, 44 is the low, high 61. Friday of next week, high 69, low 52, and then it gets back warm again. But you can count on this. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and part of the day on Thursday, it's going to be cold, 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 with thunder showers and scattered showers on Saturday and Sunday of this week.
Yeah, we didn't have much of a normally cold February, but it looks like March is going to start off a little different.
Yeah, no question.
Did Troy win in baseball last night?
No, Jacksonville State beat them, Mike. Troy scored 3 runs early, and Jacksonville went ahead. Then Jacksonville came back in their inning, had back-to-back home runs, and tied it at 3. And it was 3-3 going into the 6th. Jacksonville scored 3 more runs, and it was 6-3. But here it is. Troy tied the game at 6-6. See, I left thinking we're going to just get beat. The pitcher Jacksonville had, and they looked real strong. And but Troy came storming back and scored 3 runs Jacksonville scored 3 runs. Let me get over here where I can tell what's going on here.
Yeah, Troy got beat 9-7.
They got beat 9-7, but I think they tied it back up. They tied it up at 6-4, and then they tied it. They tied it up at 6. But then the Trojans had an opportunity to take the lead, but had runners on the corners with 2 outs, and they hit it back into the wall before he reached to make the catch. The guy the Troy guy had hit it all with the wall and reached up and robbed him. 3 in the 8th inning. Jacksonville, the Trojans made it close with made it 9-7, and after that the Trojans lose the ball game 9-7 against Jacksonville State. Troy is now 4-4 on the year.
Yeah, Jack State's now 4-5. Russ Hickson took the loss for Troy. He gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. So tough loss for Troy last night. Of course, you never like to lose to your rivalry game in Jack State. But Jack State's always been good in baseball, and Troy's really played well against Jack State the last several years.
Yeah, no question about it. Want to mention
Troy was led by Reed Smith. Reed Smith went 3 for 5. Drew Frederick went 1 for 5. Sadler Goodwin went 3 for 5. Chase Smart went 1 for 1. And then a few other guys had 1 hit during the game. But that was a little bounce back. Kind of tough start to the season. Still shot. They went 2-2 against the Chippewas from Central Michigan. But then they went on the road and took 2 of 3 from Louisiana Tech, which was really good to win that series. But it's going to be interesting to see how this team does. A lot of guys coming back from that regional team, but they also lost a lot of tremendous players. And anytime you got to replace a guy like Joey Dennison in the middle of your lineup, that's going to be tough.
Exactly right. I was looking at Goshen and what happened in the Goshen game. Mike, they had a walk-off home run. Goshen had a home run. They won the ball game for them late over Highland Home. So congratulations to them. And I was trying to catch the guy that hit the walk-off home run, but for Goshen last night. Of course, we got a lot of other things to talk about.
We got basketball starting back tonight as well. Troy plays at home, don't they, against Texas State?
Yep, and of course, it's a game that we really need to win because we need to not be in the cellar. The 2 teams in the bottom of the conference at the end of the season will have a playoff over on who will advance.
It's more than the last 2. It's actually the last 4 will have to play either on the road or host a game at home court.
Yeah.
Troy's tied for last place right now with Appalachia State.
Well,
I mean, a huge disappointing basketball season. Let's be honest. I mean, when we beat Western Kentucky on the road and UAB on the road back to back, I was thinking this team would win 20 games.
Yeah.
And now we're just fighting to see if we could even. I mean, I don't think 500 is even close to going to happen. But just trying to somewhere get into that tournament down in New Orleans. I don't even know if it's going to happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've had a few comments on an article this morning that I wrote about my dear friend Sonny Williford, and his legacy will live on. I tell you, his funeral was about as impressive a send-off as I've seen in a long time. Robert K.T. Coe did a fabulous job with the eulogy. He eulogized his good friend Sonny Williford, and I've got an article coming from my heart in the day's messenger, and I hope that you'll read it. It's a great summary of what's already been. So many things have been said about Sonny Williford, who died Saturday with a heart attack. And of course, again, you folks, this is Heart Month out there, and a lot of things going on with the Heart Association. William Davis is heading up a lot of that, and of course Jim O'Neill and all those great folks that are doing their best to get the word out about heart disease. And I want to reiterate to you that Sonny Williford, my good friend, knew that there was a lot of heart disease in his family, and whether or not he addressed it or not, he knew about it. And everybody that has heart disease in your family, you need to see or have a heart specialist and get checked out, frequently. I have a heart doctor, and I see him twice a year, and thank goodness for the catheterization, because if not, I wouldn't know that I was having a heart attack. Well, I had stents, 3 stents put in my heart, and I feel good, and I could tell right off the bat that I could breathe better, and I felt much better. So you folks out there that have heart disease in your family, your granddaddy, your grandmama, your mama, your daddy, your brothers and sisters, if you've got heart disease in your family, you need to find and get a heart doctor now and be checked out and have a regimen of times of the year you see a doctor. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I'm on blood pressure medicine. I've probably been for 15 years.
Well, and you know, that is a shame for a young man like you to have to be on blood pressure medicine.
Well, it's only 10 milligrams. It's not a whole lot. But, I mean, it's one of those things.
Are you overweight?
Am I overweight? Yeah, a little bit.
What, 6'2" and a half, 319, 320?
I mean, I have the weight that we always wanted when I was in high school.
I'm being a little bit facetious. Using that word again.
So what do you think the chances are tonight that Troy beats a team that's 22-6?
Are they 22-6?
Yeah, when in the world has a team in the Sun Belt been 22-6 this time of season?
Slim and none.
Texas State is 22-6 and 11-4 in the Sun Belt.
If Bernardo does not play, it's going to be slim and none because Bernardo makes.
On Bernardo, I mean, don't you think it's a situation you just got to go ahead and say he's suspended for the year? I mean, how do you keep on holding him out and saying it's indefinite?
Yeah.
I mean, he's already been suspended 6 games now.
Yeah, I know it. I don't know. That's up to them. But you're right. It's something that
strange situation.
Yeah. Well, he's
a guy that was averaging 29.5 points per game in conference. When has Troy ever had that?
I know it. And with and was considered a possible chance of going into the NBA. I mean, Troy's never had an NBA player.
Well, I mean, that's still possible, but I mean, it's just one of those type of things where I don't know. This has just been a strange situation how all this has happened. Of course, you know, we're not involved in that locker room, and we're not the coaching staff, but the players seem like they just seem lost on the court when he's not out there.
Yeah. Well, I hate it for the coaching staff. This is a very good coaching staff, one of the best bunch of people I've ever been around, and let me say something. This past weekend was sort of an embarrassing loss for Troy, and there was a lot going on. A lot of former players had come back to be recognized, and then the Archer group, about 30 of those guys came back, and they had a big event and so forth. And later on that night, on Saturday, guess who comes by to see the group and speak to them was Coach
Cunningham.
Coach Cunningham and Coach Grant.
No, man, that's great. I mean, I'm not blaming them.
I know, but what I'm saying, he didn't have to come. He did not have to come, but he did. You know, he wasn't backing away from anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Mike, let me put you on hold a minute. I'm going to catch this call here. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Hey, Mike. It's Will Matthews.
Will Matthews, won't you please come home? Where have you been, son?
Well, right now, I went through Troy a few minutes ago.
Where are you going, to Montgomery, or where are you going?
Going to Montgomery, and I'm getting on an airplane going to Washington, D.C. to see my son, my daughter-in-law, and my new granddaughter.
Oh, boy, you're going to have a ball. And, hey, listen, that somebody needs to send out an alert warning up there that you're heading up there. The Domino King is heading to Washington, D.C.
Well, he's got me a private tour of the West Wing of the White House.
Does he really?
Nice. So, and I'm going to bowl in the White House.
Are you serious? Is there a bowling alley in the White House?
Yes, they've got 2 lanes.
Yeah.
Or 3 lanes.
Yeah. Let me put you on hold a second. All right, you still on?
Yeah.
Good, Mike. Mike's not on. Hold on 1 second. Put you on hold here. All right, here we go. 1. All right, we got you both now?
I'm on.
How about you, Will? All right, good. Will Matthews calling. He's heading to Montgomery to get on a plane. Hey, look, wait for it to stop raining.
It's raining pretty good. I'm about 20 minutes from the airport, and it's raining like crap.
Yeah. Will, I've got some people here today that are very knowledgeable on your where you came from, what boat you got off of. Do you know what boat your folks got off of when they came to America?
I have no idea.
Wait a minute, I would have thought an attorney like you would know that.
He's talking about your ancestors.
Now, my aunt,
Your ancestors.
yeah, Sarah she did genealogical research about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've looked at it. I mean, it goes back to England.
Have you seen your family tree? Have you ever seen your family tree?
I have, but it's been.
Somebody told me Clint Eastwood was your 15th cousin.
No, but my triple great grandfather was governor of Mississippi.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How did you find that out?
That's on my.
Can we do a DNA on him while he's alive?
So
Will's our attorney. Yeah.
What did you think in the golf tournament? Dustin Johnson looked pretty good in Mexico.
Yeah, that guy's. When you give him, he hits the ball so far. When you give him par fours, he can drive, and then you got par fives. He can reach with irons. I mean, it just gives him too much of an advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, we've got a real good show today. We're going to be talking about our what's the word?
Your genealogy?
What our genealogy is, and we've got a very, very interesting show with two
Mike, let me tell you
experts.
why.
Yeah.
Well, I've been thinking about you. I saw where your friend died.
Yeah, Sonny Williford, yeah. And I've got an article in today's Troy Messenger about him.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's kin to Bobby Williford.
Oh, yeah, they were cousins. And Bobby coached at Carroll High Ozark. They were, I want to say they were second cousins.
Yeah, Bobby coached at Carroll High, and his son and I went to school together. And I don't know if Bobby's still alive or not. Probably not.
I know. Well, I want to say I haven't heard that he had died. Now, there's heart disease in that family. I'll tell you that. And
well, he'd be in his 80s now.
yeah, that's right. But of course, the outstanding coach and outstanding pitcher on Troy University's baseball team back then, or Troy State Teachers College's baseball team.
Yeah.
But I was with some great people this weekend. Some of them you probably knew. And, of course, Carroll High has had some real good basketball teams over the years. George, Will, now, let me ask this. You said you're going to go tour the White House, and you're going to have a private tour. Do you reckon you'll see old Donald? You and Donald, I bet you and Donald would get along good.
Well, now the last time I was up there, I did an East Wing tour, which is open to the public. Everybody does that.
Yeah.
This is one for the employees and that.
You mean it's going to show where he watches television?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna see.
They say he watches CNN every night.
I doubt that.
Well, he wants to know what the enemy's saying about him. If he watched Fox, it would be, he'd know what they're going to talk about.
So who does your son work for? What part of the administration?
Now he is in the agriculture department.
Yeah.
And they're wanting him to go over to the White House, and he's turned them down twice, and he likes where he's at. But I don't know if he can. I think he may.
Ladies and gentlemen, how many times have you been told in life it's who you know, whether you're recruiting football players or you're getting a job or hey, you're getting married or you about going to buy a car. It's who you know. And I want you to very quickly tell us, verify that statement I just made.
Well, Jeff Sessions and I have been friends 35 years at least.
Jeff Sessions and you are friends.
Yeah.
He doesn't play golf.
I know, but we used to to be involved in the politics of the Methodist Church.
Okay, I got you.
We would go and you know, I was on there and he was on there, and we were on the pastoral parish committee that moves preachers around, and we took all kind of grief from preachers.
I bet you did, especially a preacher that liked where he was, and his son was the best football player and baseball player.
Yeah, but anyway, he got my son involved with the Trump campaign, and Trump liked him, and Trump sent him to Pennsylvania, and he ran Trump's Pennsylvania campaign at 28 years old, and they won Pennsylvania. Once he won Pennsylvania, that they weren't supposed to win.
I'm gonna tell you now, with the Wallace administration, you know, I did a little of that. What had happened? They sent him to places where they didn't have anybody to speak, and he had to speak, didn't he?
Right, absolutely, and he got his pick of jobs in Washington, and he wanted to work for the agriculture department. And so he's been with them for 2 years. He got sworn in 30 minutes after the president got sworn in.
Well, something I want you to say right now, and you know, of course, this is easy to, you know, you could make this up if you wanted to, but he actually knew Trump personally. I mean, Trump actually treated him as on a name-to-name basis.
And Trump told him before the election, he said, look, if I don't win this election, you're the hardest working young man I've ever seen.
All right, now you can verify that he said that to your son.
Yeah, he told him, you've got a job in my organization for the rest of your life if I don't win this election.
Oh man, that's pretty neat, man. You're right.
That's what he thinks.
But he's a regular guy. What I'm trying to say is Trump is a regular guy, isn't he?
Well,
he just happened to be a billionaire. I mean, he can't help that, can he?
Yeah, he likes to play golf.
Yeah, he does. No question about it.
Well, yeah, he played golf the other day, and it was Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods. That was.
Are you serious? That's who he's playing with?
There was a picture of it on Facebook.
Well, he must be pretty good. He must be pretty good to, you know, or he'd been terribly embarrassed to play with him.
Can you imagine the pressure of playing with those two?
He's a single-digit handicapper, so he shoots in the 70s.
Yeah. And of course yeah, exactly, no question about it. Well, Will, you have a great week, and that sounds like have the cherry blossoms started to bloom yet?
Oh my God, it's supposed to snow tomorrow.
Oh, is it?
I'm going into the cold, and I've got all my warm clothes.
Yeah.
And
well, Washington D.C. beware of that Will Matthews is coming to town.
I've never flown out of Montgomery's airport. Never.
Really? Are you serious?
That's not bad.
And
I would have thought you had at least flown.
I've never seen
the small plane to Atlanta, then got on the plane. I've done that many times.
But they've got a direct flight from Montgomery to Reagan National Airport, which is within a mile of my son's house in Arlington.
That's
for
great.
$230 round trip.
And that's every day they've got a.
Yes, every day.
You can fly direct from Montgomery to Washington.
Right.
Man, and that rate.
Cheaper.
You know that right there. I mean, anybody can get that rate.
Sure.
Boy, that is not bad, is it?
What airline
is that back and forth or just one way?
That's back and forth.
Oh man, gosh!
Book
me a ticket. Book me a ticket.
American Airlines.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's something.
And I was just shocked. Somebody
Yeah.
told me about it, and so anyway, I hooked it up, and I'm gonna be going up there a lot at that rate.
Yeah, no question about it. Will, we're gonna have to let you go. We've got some guests. Got some guests, and you be careful, my friend, and call us Monday and let us know how it went here.
All right, we'll see you.
Take care. Okay, Mike, you want to stay with us?
Yeah, I'll be on.
All right, here we go. We're gonna take a short break. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up. You can grill, steam, or smoke on your New Holland grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town and Country Flooring Center.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office.
When you are handed the key to a new Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick or GMC, rev up your imagination. Think of all the places you can go in some of the most stylish, best quality cars available on the market today. Feel confident driving vehicles with superb dependability and safety ratings. And smile. You saved a ton of money because you bought at Bill Jackson. Let the only thing holding you back be the end of the road. A Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC vehicle will not only change your life, it saves you money like nowhere else.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
Linda. This is Mike. I'm sorry to call you so. Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. Get Joel to call me on my show, if you will. The number is 670-0052. 670-0052. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, back to our show, and I had to handle something that I should have done last night before I got to the show today. But we've got some friends of mine that have joined us today, and I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself.
Sister Betty Ormsby.
And okay, and go ahead.
And I'm Elder Jim Ormsby.
And of course, y'all are with the Church of Latter-day Saints. Is that right?
That's true. Mm-hmm.
And of course, live in Orem. Is it Orem?
Actually, it's outside of Ogden, Utah.
Ogden, Utah, and of course, they are now in Troy for
almost 2 years.
Yeah, you've been here for that long, or
no,
you going to be here?
They're going to be here a month today.
They're going to be here for the next 2 years and working with the church, but also providing a service to the people of Pike and surrounding counties, or anybody that's listening or watching our show today about your heritage, or your, is that the right word?
That's good. We're going to teach people how to find their heritage, their ancestors.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we're specializing in while we're here.
Yeah. And it's going to be fun this morning because we're going to not play around, because this is serious business. What makes you people, you two, of course, you're husband and wife, is that right?
Yeah.
And what makes you two so knowledgeable about this? About how you can go back and track somebody's history?
Well, to begin with, our church is very focused on families.
Yeah.
And our families, we consider, as many churches do and as many faiths do, that our families are forever.
Yeah.
And so we focus on our families and finding out our ancestors. Betty, my wife, is the expert in it. She really is. And her background is such that she's been doing genealogy or family history for how many years now?
47.
Well, and ladies and gentlemen, excuse me if well, all right, here we go. Good morning, how you doing?
Mike.
Yeah, Joel Amos calling, my brother's calling. Joel on my show today. I've got Elder Armsby and Elder Betty Armsby. They're from Utah, and they're very knowledgeable of genealogy, if I can pronounce it right. And you know, of course, our mother did a lot of that and researched our family history, and I thought maybe I should get you on the phone to verify a few things. You know, our dad came from Coffee County, didn't he? Or correct me if I'm wrong. His family.
Yeah, their home place was right outside of Wilkinstown, up on towards the elbow from Wilkinstown there.
Yeah, well, were they in Pike County or they were in Coffee County?
They were in Coffee County.
So you think he was born in Coffee County?
I think there was 3 brothers there that farmed in Wilkinstown, and
one of those brothers was our granddaddy. Is that right? One of those brothers was our granddaddy, or what?
That's right. Yes.
Okay. Now, all right, give us the date. So do you have any idea what kind of time period we're talking about here? Would you know?
Dad was born in 1911, and I would say that his father there was probably, 25 or so when he was born.
Yeah.
So that's about the only way I can relate to that. But
late 1800s.
He died when he was about 52.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just sort of throw it out like 1880. Let's say 1880 would be a good thing. What was the actual date, Joel? All right. Mom was.
I can't say there is a huge monument out there that was for the 3 brothers' father in the middle of a cemetery there at where a church called Sharon Church.
Yeah, Sharon Church. Okay.
The
what we're trying to do
is still standing, but the church is not there anymore.
Yeah. Okay. But would you have known who our our grandfather's first name was? Would you have known that?
His name is James William Beverly Amos.
Oh, that's great. James Williams Beverly Amos. And our daddy was William Revel Amos. Is that right?
Right.
And what give us the dates there for do you know of course
Daddy's birthday was August the 25th.
Okay, I knew that. And also my mother and that was 1911, and my mother was Lillian DuBose Amos. Is that right?
Yeah, her name was Lillian Pearl.
Lillian Pearl. Would you want the actual name, or would you want
you need the whole name.
All right, yeah,
Her
Lillian Pearl.
If you have her maiden name.
DuBose.
It's important.
Exactly. And then of course she married Revel Amos from Coffee County, Alabama. All right, and give us her stats there, Joel. When was she actually born in 19? What was it? 1912.
Was born in
1912. Though she was born in 19.
Town up close to Steele's Crossroads.
I'll tell you who that.
Think of the name of that town. I think Post Oak.
Post Oak
is the name of the town.
Post Oak, exactly. Post Oak. Yeah, and so we're getting. All right, give us the actual dates on that.
Well,
that was November
the 22nd.
22nd.
1912.
Okay, now we got it. All right. Joel, hang with us a little bit because we're gonna need to refer back to you a little bit. What we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, these two people are very knowledgeable of genealogy.
Genealogy or family history.
Yeah. Now, one thing that has helped genealogists over the years, especially recently, is DNA. Is that right?
It's more a verification than it is actually finding things.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. All right, let's go. And what we're going to do, and this is a personal thing. You know, some people might not want to share this, but I don't mind at all. In fact, I would find it interesting. My mother had a lot of records on it. I don't know where they are. Do you have those records, Joel?
I have a few, yes.
My mother, Lillian Amos, did quite a bit of work on genealogy, and she found it to be very interesting. And of course, today from 3 to 7, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will bring computers. If you'll bring your computers and other electrical devices, they'll track your ancestors for you, and that information, birth and place, possible birth and where they were born, and death date, is that possible death date, would give us a lot of information, and we're going to talk more about that later on in our show. But from where we are right now, we're going to track my father, who was born in Coffee County, Alabama. But now, Joel, a lot of his family were from Goshen, the Rebels, but that was on my grandmother's side. Is that right?
That's right.
And
yeah.
she was, all right, her full name,
Her full name was Catherine.
See, he knows so much more about it than I do.
Catherine Revel. Yeah.
Catherine Revel.
Her middle name.
I called her Nanny.
That's right. That's right.
She lived to be 99. She lived to be 99 years old too, didn't she?
Yeah.
She was Catherine
she was 96
Revel.
when she died.
Amos. She was Catherine Revel Amos, and most of her folks came from the Goshen community, which is Pike County. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I typed in James.
Jesse Frank
James William
Revel was her brother.
All right, Jesse Frank Revel was her brother. Was her brother.
I typed in James William Amos, and Find a Grave Index has just showed up, and I'm going to go to it.
That was my granddaddy, James William.
Yes.
Okay. And what did you find? Oh, you're waiting on it.
It's right there.
All right, tell us about it.
Event. Okay. He was born the 30th of October, 1872, and he died on 30th of January, 1930, in Coffee, Alabama.
That's right.
And the cemetery that he's buried in is Sharon Cemetery.
Sharon, Joel, you hit it on the button almost. I just called Joel and woke him up just then. But you were almost totally correct. James William Amos, is that right? Born.
And it said Beverly on it too.
Beverly. All right. James William Beverly
Amos.
Okay. All right. Give me those dates there again, if you don't mind. The 30th or what?
He was born on the 30th of October, 1872.
October 30th, 1872. So he would have been a young man at the Civil War, so he probably did not fight in the Civil War, wouldn't you say, Joel? I know he didn't if he was born in 72.
He was born after the Civil War.
He had relatives that were
he would have had
not in the Confederate Army, but they were raiders. They were called Amos's horsemen.
Were they really? Isn't that something? They were
from the Enterprise area.
That's right. Now, and I'm going to throw out a name to you. We're probably not the most well-known Amoses of all time, but the Amoses over in Columbus, Georgia, Joel, that founded the insurance company, Quack Quack. You know what I'm talking about, Joel?
Yeah, Aflac.
Yeah, Aflac, Quack Quack. They're from Coffee County, Alabama. Did you know that?
Life, yeah.
And they're from John Amos was his name, I think. We'll look at that later. But
okay.
Now, okay, go ahead.
Okay, the next one that I found, it's the United States World War I draft registration cards, and all men at a certain age had to sign up for this registration. And I found James William B. Amos, and it has his birth date as 30th October 1872, so it's the same person.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I should have gone on
that is unreal already. All right, and he was, and he died in 1930. Back then that was, almost 60 years old. That was fairly long life back then, wasn't it? Is those some of the?
He was 19 when he died.
Joel, I'm looking at his signature and everything. Is that right?
Yes, this is the.
Gosh, this already is enough to verify what y'all do. This is great. Joel, I'm looking at this right now, and tell us what we're seeing.
Well, the registration card is what.
I wish we could show this on our screen.
Each man had to sign, and it has a signature in it, and it also says that he was medium built, brown eyes, and looks like brown hair.
That would be like medium build height, about 5'10" to 6 foot. Would you call that medium, or say like 5'10" back then? The men were not as tall back then as they are now. Is that right?
Right.
All right. So we found my grandfather, and now switch over and all right, go ahead.
And it also has his address on it.
And it's got his address on it, Joel.
Troy Pike, Alabama.
Troy Pike, Alabama. But now, is that enough to find a person, though?
And it also has the September 12th, 1918 is when these were filled out.
The draft registration.
The draft registration.
To show his children's names.
All right, wait a minute. Let's go back there. All right, you said September the 12th, 1901, when he signed those papers.
1918.
1918.
And it does.
That was World War I, then, wasn't it? Wasn't that World War I, Mike?
Yes,
sure.
Yes, World War I. And it has his wife's name here. And it says Ida C. Amos.
That's her.
Ida C.
That's
Amos.
my grandmother, Ida C. Amos. Isn't that right, Joel?
Right, Ida Catherine, yeah.
Ida Catherine Amos, who lived on Sun Street in Troy, Alabama. She was a school teacher, wasn't she? Or she taught school at one time. And she had a sister.
One time she did, yeah.
She had a sister, isn't that right, that lived over on Elm Street that was a school teacher.
And Ella, yeah.
And was that grandmother, that was her sister, wasn't it?
That's right.
Her name was Ella. Joel, Ella.
I can't think of her.
Hadaway. Hadaway, Joel.
Yeah, that was her married name.
Yeah, all right, but she was Ella Hadaway was a school teacher, and of course that was my grandmama's.
She wrote a history of Pike County too during her lifetime.
Okay, all right, tell us about this.
Okay, what I just found was 1920 census, and it says Goshen Hill, Pike, Alabama.
That's right.
And
Goshen Hill was the address. Is that right?
Goshen Hill.
All right.
And it says James W.B. Amos. A lot of times you'll just see abbreviations for middle names.
Yeah.
He's age 46, and he's married.
All right. And when Goshen was, the address was Goshen Hill. So my granddaddy, Joel, was pretty much raised in Goshen, Alabama.
And it also tells his father and mother were born in Georgia.
Okay, Georgia. So we're coming close to the ship, aren't we?
I don't know.
All right, go ahead. All right, tell us about that. Those people in Georgia.
And also the two children are listed on it. And
all right, what are their names?
William R. Amos.
All right, that was my daddy, William R. Amos.
And he's 8 years old.
He was 8 years old.
And Emma.
That's his twin sister, Emma Lou Renfro. All right, well, tell me who.
Emma, 8 years old, and it lists as all 4 of them being born in Alabama. Now we can look at the original document right there.
This is a personal thing, ladies and gentlemen, but it's interesting. I want everybody to see this because this service is going to be available to you. All right, go ahead and tell me that.
Well, and if you're someplace where you have a printer, like you could probably do this at the Troy Public Library,
yeah, okay.
and you can print these out. You can print all these.
And our library has a lot of this information. Is that right? Geological information.
They have a lot, but they have computers that you can print all of this out. Can we make that bigger?
This is something. Oh boy, that's great right there.
Okay, see, this is the information that
okay.
I just read to you, and
that's his children. That's my granddaddy and his children, and my daddy was William Revel Amos, and my aunt Emma Lou was Emma Lou Emma Lou Amos Renfro. She was married to a Renfro. Shorty Renfro.
Okay, this is 1920.
1920.
And we'll go see if we can find anything else.
All right, 1920.
Grandfather had 2 brothers that lived there in Wilkinstown with them.
And see, that's located between
Elba and Troy. One went to Enterprise.
You know what we're finding out, Mike? I believe we're a lot closer kin to John Amos and the fortunes of that insurance company because he is from Coffee County, Alabama, I believe, Joel. When I went to Enterprise, another one went where?
To Columbus.
To Columbus, Georgia?
Yeah.
That's where John Amos was born and raised and started that insurance company later on. Aflac. Quack quack.
Yeah.
I know the last one.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, this is a 1910 census, and it's Deanville, Coffee, Alabama, is where they lived.
Deanville, D-E-A-N. Okay.
And this is in as James W. Amos, and there's his wife, Ida C.
Okay.
James is 37, and Ida is 33, and we have an original document.
Okay, so my granddaddy, all right, go ahead.
We have an original document there.
Okay.
The 1910.
Isn't that something? Let's see that again. All right, yeah, I got you. That's their birth date, or that's their... That's how old they were when the children were born, or what?
There's no children yet. This third person is just somebody who lived with them at the time.
Yeah, I got you.
Now, when you're looking at census records, if you know there's a lot of family that's in the areas, you need to look up and down your census.
Yeah, exactly.
And you will find
head. See that head?
You'll find relatives. There's a William right above James. There's a William G. Amos.
William G. Amos was probably one of his brothers. Is that right?
No,
he's 67.
It could be a father or an uncle.
William G.
It could be a father or an uncle. He's this gentleman is 67 years old, and he's widowed, which means his wife had passed away.
Okay, now the head, you see this head right there, Thomas? Right. That head, that is one of our family names. Like when I used to go to the family reunions in Montgomery at Oak Park, that we went to the head reunion. Isn't that right, Joel?
Well, when they say head,
head and.
All right, go ahead. What now?
Okay, when they say head on records, they mean he's the head of the family.
Oh, okay.
On that record.
Okay. Okay. All right, I got you.
Okay.
All right, now what I need to find out, of course, we look like we've got them dated pretty well up to my daddy and his twin sister. Find out how far can you go back though from my great grandfather or my grandfather? Who was my great grandfather? Can you figure that out?
Okay, this William G, as I said.
I bet that was him. What was the date on him?
He's 67 years old.
67 at the time.
Should have been in the Civil War.
If he was 67, Joe, he would have been.
This is in 1910. This gentleman is 67 years old.
Oh yeah, that'd be our great grandfather, don't you think?
And he was born in Georgia.
Born in Georgia.
53.
And his parents were born in Georgia.
What were their names?
We don't have the names here. See, these columns right here show. This first column is where the head of the family was born, and then these two columns ask. This one's where his father was born, and this is asked where his mother was born. So they were both born in Georgia.
And you can get a lot of this information at the public library. Is that right?
Yeah, you can get on.
We got a call coming in. I want to just see who this is here. I'm gonna put you on hold. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hi, it's calling back.
All right, okay, Mike, I'm going to try to bring you back. If I can't, let me just call you back in just a few moments.
All right.
All right. Back to Joel Amos, is that right?
Yes.
All right. And Joel, are you finding this to be interesting?
It's very interesting. Bill got into some...
That's my older brother, Bill. He's 83 years old. All right, go ahead, Joel.
Bill had a book that was titled Mount Soma, and it was a story of the Amos family in South Carolina. And Mount Soma was a plantation in the eastern side of South Carolina there, and it's a huge...
So it looks like the boat our folks came in. Seems like the boat our folks came in on was in South Carolina. Then is that right? Do you feel like that's the truth?
I don't know about that.
Yeah. But, all right. But let's go back though to our great.
Amos spelled backwards? In other words, that's where it ties in.
Why now?
Thing that Bill found out about at the plantation that an Amos family lived in was called Mount Soma, which is Amos spelled backwards.
Okay, I got you. All right. Now, all right. It's very clear on who our grandfather was. Who was our great grandfather? Did it give you any idea?
George
See, there's a William G.
William G. I really believe I believe that's it. Joel, I think this William G. is our great grandfather.
Yeah, probably.
And he was from Georgia. Is that right?
Right. Now, it probably is his father, but sometimes the younger families also lived near aunts and uncles.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Now here is a son-in-law that's listed with his family that was living with William G.
Son-in-law, okay.
And his last name is Clark. And then Nancy is the daughter of William.
Right.
And then there's his grandchildren.
Well, we had a cousin called Foster Clark.
In Montgomery, Mike.
Amos and Foster Clark.
Amos Clark, yeah.
Who was also related to Mrs. Dago Dozier here in Troy. Did you know that? They were also related.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Okay, they're in Coffee, Deanville. I don't know if you wrote that down.
That Deanville is the name.
1910 is what this is from.
They lived in Deanville in 1910, and they were born. Those two children were born in 1911. So All right, Deanville, the significance of 1910 is when they lived there in Deanville, is that right? And then the twins who were my daddy and my aunt, were born in...
they were born after 19...
That's right, they were born in 1912, 11. They were born in 1911, okay.
Our grandfather was only one that stayed there. The other two brothers went their way. But
when I went to Enterprise and when I went to Columbus.
With his father farming for several years.
So they stayed around the Deanville area then, is that right?
That's right.
And wherever Deanville was, it was in Coffee County though, wasn't it? Probably,
yes,
probably near Wilkinstown, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, it's right across the road from the Sharon Cemetery almost.
The Sharon Cemetery is where my grandfather was buried, is that right?
That's right.
All right, that's located in Wilkinstown or near Wilkinstown?
Right.
Okay, go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, these are two friends of mine. They're both elders in the...
Mile and a half, 2 miles down that road is where the Sharon Cemetery is. It's a closed-in cemetery with a big monument in the middle of it, and that monument was James William Beverly's memorial.
Okay, so if it's a big monument, it might have been that they were pretty well-to-do people, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you think?
Oh, yes.
Okay, all right, what else do we have here? We still are,
okay.
My we've got my great-grandfather or my grandfather.
Now, we're not sure if, okay, this says Chowdersville, Tillman's Mill, Deanville Coffee. Does that sound anything familiar to either one of you?
Tillmansville, Jordan, is that...
Tillman's Mill.
Somebody in Tillman's Mill,
That could be their home site after
and it's Deanville.
I don't know.
All right, what did you say now?
It's Deanville.
Deanville.
His wife is Lou Amos. Now, this could be a different William G. Amos. I don't know how much family you have.
Lou, Joel, that name Lou, and this is a girl, this is a woman, it could have been your great-grandmother. Lou, again, what's the last name, Lou?
Lou Amos.
Amos, I got you. All right, now, on my mother's side, all right, do you feel like this is about as far back we go right here?
Oh, you can go further back.
Oh, okay. We'll see what happens when we go back further.
Was your grandfather possibly called Jimmy?
Could have been Jimmy Joel, our grandfather.
That would be her brother was Jimmy, but his name was James Franklin. It probably would be indicated. That
was my mother, Joel, but we're talking about my daddy, aren't you?
Well, your grandfather, maybe.
Yeah.
In 1900 census, it lists a Jimmy. It does list a Jimmy in the William G.
Was this under the Amos or
yes.
the Dubos? Okay. All right. Of course, the Rebel side, my grandmother's side of family goes way back in Goshen. And Jordy, it was Jesse Frank Rebel was my grandmother's brother, wouldn't you say?
I think so, yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, what we're doing, we're looking at our these two people, the elders here, specialize in providing information on where you came from. And of course, this information right here is some of the information that you need. In fact, today from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you can learn about your family history, and there's going to be a workshop at 790 Elba Highway. There's going to be a workshop starting at 3 o'clock today, and I find it to be very interesting. I mean, they just walked up here just a while ago, and I found out who my great grandfather was, or where he came from. Also, bring your computers and other electrical devices. Also, bring an ancestor's information, birth and place, possible death date, and that's pretty much all you got to do. Is that right?
That's right.
That's right, and we can help them try to find out.
And hand me the crest over there. This is something that I always found to be interesting, is your family's crest. Does everybody have a crest? Does everybody have a family crest? Pretty much.
It's just from certain areas. For instance, this is.
All right, when you got a family crest, does that mean that some of your family people were
they were in
well-to-do folks or something like that?
In Great Britain, in England, and Scotland, and Ireland, they all have family crests.
My mother has always said to me, Joel, I don't know if she told you any different. I always felt like we were from Scotland. Is that right, Joel? Or Ireland? Where were we from?
That's possible. That's almost where a genealogy reference I found at Fort Rucker one day. There was a guy sitting out in front of the commissary, and he plugged in our name, and he said that we were originated in Northumberland.
Yeah. All right, let's go to...
Which is north of London, and it's up almost to Scotland.
Yeah, I got you. I could have been, what's that great warrior of that movie, Mike? We might have been related to him. I know I was a warrior somewhere.
Braveheart?
Yeah, Braveheart. That's right. Exactly. What was his name? What was that guy's name? William what? And Braveheart. Whatever. All right. Let's go over to my mother's side, which was...
Well, I wanted to
show you. All right, go ahead.
This is one more thing I found on this William.
Please do. Give me all that information.
This William G. Amos. This is a marriage certificate.
Okay. William G. Amos, who was my grandfather. Is that right?
Great-grandfather.
Great-grandfather. Okay.
If we have the correct information, but it looks like it is. And the lady that he married is...
William Wallace.
Okay. That's right. Go ahead.
And the lady he married was Lorena,
Lorena.
R-E-N-A Robinson.
Robinson. And this is my great-grandfather.
We think it is.
Okay. And where do they live?
This marriage is in Pike County, Alabama.
Pike County, Alabama.
And they were married the 4th of January, 1866.
1866, so that was right there in the middle of the Civil War, so he might have actually been home on leave or something, probably, the dates of
the county lines changed so much back in those days.
The war, it went from 60 to 64, didn't the Civil War go just 4 years, something like that? All right, what else do you have here?
Okay, you wanted us to do a grandmother or great-grandmother?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, wait a minute now.
Do you have a name?
Well, the one we just had.
Well, yeah, Ida C. Amos, Ida Catherine.
Okay.
Was her name Catherine, Joel? Ida Catherine.
Middle name, apparently.
Yeah. Ida Catherine Amos, and she lived to be 98 or 99. We called her Annie, huh?
She lived to be 96.
96, okay. Well, she's buried here out at the Green Hills.
Yes.
Her actually was moved to Green Hills. What do you find there?
Okay, we've seen her already in the 1910-1920 census, and
All right, what we got?
Rebel Amos.
All right, Rebel Amos.
This is 1940 census.
And then Lillian P. Amos, who is my mother, and it's got all that information.
When I was born, it was 44.
Yeah.
So your father and your mother were living with
That's right.
his mother.
They lived with his mother for a little while. That's right.
In 1940.
That's right.
And they were in Pike County,
Isn't that amazing?
Alabama.
That's exactly right. And then my grandmother remained there until she died, you know, because we moved to Orion Street, Troy, Alabama, and that's where I lived all of my childhood. James C. Houston, they pronounced it Houston. Some people pronounce it Houston. Was married briefly to my.
There's Coleman.
And they had one child, James Houston.
Yeah, James C.
And
there's their ages right there.
There's the ages.
And there's a William W. Amos, who's a grandson at 4 years old. That was just.
That's our older brother.
And that's my older brother, William Warren.
Okay.
Amos.
Right.
Was that name? So, all right.
I'm going to go to the.
All right, now it's also got a picture of the cemetery, Joel. This is sort of unusual.
Yeah,
it tells you where they're buried.
Yeah, we'll look that up in a minute. I'm just showing you this is the 1940 census. It will ask people on the census where they lived in 1935, and many times they'll say same place, and if they lived in a different place, then it will, this 1940 census will list where they lived in 1935. Okay, we're going to go back and see if we can find.
One interesting point is that they misspelled the name there. It was AMAS in that census.
Yeah, they sure did. That's right. Yeah, I'm sure somebody just wrote it down wrong.
And so you'll find that a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different spellings according to that information I encountered.
Ida Mae Amos was related to us.
It's AMES, AMIS, and AMOS.
All right, there's Monroe Monroe Revel names. That's on my grandmother's side, Monroe Revel. You remember that, Joel?
No.
You don't ever remember? I've heard that name Monroe Revel all my life, pretty much.
Father's name.
That was the father of who now? Ida.
Ida.
Yeah. All right, Ida Amos's father. We're talking
Monroe.
about grandmama now. Her father was Monroe Amos and
Monroe Revel.
Monroe Revel. All right,
and Emma Crow.
And Emma Crow. All right, that's the Crow part of CROWE part of our background, Mike. I mean, Joel, you remember that?
Yes.
You know, one of them was our barber. You remember? All right, James W. All right, here we go. James W.B. Amos.
Okay, this
was
is
married to Ida Amos. James W.B.
Okay, this is her death record.
All right, this is her death record. She died 17th of January. No, that's when she.
1930.
No, she.
That's
died
when she
later.
died.
No, it was later than that because I was born.
So this might be another someone else.
No, Ida Revel Amos is my grandmother. Was my grandmother.
Right, would be
and
your
her
grandmother.
husband was James
Father died.
Amos.
Right. This is your grandmother.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
This is your grandmother.
Yeah, but it's very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, to see this, and and you can really go back further, than we are talking. George W. Amos and Catherine, of course. Again, now her background went into Goshen, Alabama, the Revel family. Could you go further in there with the Revel family? That would have been my Ida Revel Amos. It would be, and see, my name is Michael Revel Amos.
Okay, let's go there.
That's Revill.
Revel.
I'm sure there's some people out there saying, "Oh man, what are we doing? Wanting to know anything about my background?" But the reason we're showing this as my background is to let you know they can do the same thing for you and find out a lot of information that you probably don't have or that you do need to have. I would think everybody needs to know all the way back to their great-grandfather, wouldn't you think?
Okay, here's Ida C. Revel.
Yeah, that's right.
And she was born September 1877.
1877 was when and she was a sister of Monroe Rebel. Is that right? Or the granddaughter of Monroe
Okay,
Rebel.
her father is Isaiah M.
That's right, Isaiah Monroe Amos.
And her mother Emma.
Excuse me, Rebel. Excuse me, Exactly. All right, how far do you go back from there?
Now, this is a 1900 census.
All right.
Right there.
Let's see some other names here. Willie C. Rebel, Benjamin F. Rebel, Edward G. Rebel, Raven A. Rebel. That was their name, Emma A. Rebel. The Starlings, Jean Starling was, Monroe Rebel was her, Jean Starling was my daddy's first cousin, and she was, her daddy was Jesse Frank Rebel from Goshen, Alabama.
Now, in the 1900 census, it tells the year that they were born plus the month that they were born.
Exactly.
And it also asked how many children that they had and how many were still living. Isaiah Rebel had 11 children.
11 children.
And it looks like that...
And that's Isaiah Monroe Rebel, is that right? Isaiah M. Rebel?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And 1900 also lists how many children are still living, and there are 7 children still living at that time.
Okay. All right, well, does it show any names there?
Yes.
See if you see...
yes, there's names.
Jean, Jean.
Yeah, that's...
That would be part of her...
well, this is 1900.
Yeah, 1900, you're right. She wasn't born yet.
Okay. Now, Isaiah, the head of the house, the father, he was born in Alabama, and his parents were born in South Carolina.
Okay.
Finally, we're getting to
That's right.
South
We're getting
Carolina.
back to that boat. We're getting back to that boat that my mother always said that we came in on. And, you know, of course, the harbor would have been Charleston or somewhere like that, probably where the boat came in, you know, in that general area, or Savannah or whatever. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're just talking about what we can do now. And you probably, some research goes a lot further, but most of it probably from here ends up coming out of the South Carolina area. What do you think?
Sounds like it,
Yeah,
yes.
they would either been
a lot
raised.
of the family would be
You know,
around
part
there.
of their
yes.
heritage is probably in South Carolina, then Georgia, then Alabama, or vice versa.
Right.
But it's very informative information, and if you're interested in that, whether or not you're a teenager or you're a grandfather, or whatever, I think it's very important to have on record your family background. Is that right?
Yes.
Wouldn't
That's
it be
right.
good?
And you can print, if there's an image of the record, you can print it.
You can print. Can y'all do some of that for them, or you know, or at least show them how to do it?
We won't be able to, I don't think, print it at this here, but they can go to the Troy Public Library and do it.
The Troy Public Library provides a lot of this information, but now
it'll be on the computer, just like anything that you can find on the computer.
All right, today from 3 to 7 now, were you going to do this every week, or how y'all going to do it?
We don't know exactly how often. It depends upon interest. We hope to do it often.
These are very fine people. I've got to know them. They're sweet people, and we're glad y'all in Troy, and that it's no cost. Is that right?
That's
no
right.
cost.
No cost.
No cost at all. This is just a free service. And again, from 3 to 7 today at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
It's got a glare on it, Mike.
What?
Your poster's got a glare on it.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. Well, of course, the family history workshop is going to be, again, from 3 to 7 today at 790 Elba Highway, which is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Hey, you can just provide this service. You're not necessarily recruiting them to be a member of your church.
No, not at all.
This is just a service that they're providing.
And we can also, if there's interest, do a one-on-one with people, maybe at the public library.
Yeah, that would
they
be
would
great.
like some help.
And I did want to mention that they can come in any time during that period of time, 3 to 7.
Yeah.
It's not, they don't
Yeah,
have to
that's
come
right.
in
Yeah,
at 3.
any time during that time. Yeah, and bring a computer and electrical devices because they can take pictures of this. A lot of them can't they?
Mm-hmm.
And pick this up, and you know, we just went into my father and pretty much into my grandmother's, which was very similar to the same
Yes.
information, but it's very interesting, and I'm gonna look more into it myself. Bring computers and electrical devices, and also bring ancestors' information if you know some of it, the birth and place of birth, and then possible death date. And again, it's information we need to know, really, or any family needs to know, you know, where they came from.
Right.
And you know, and now, how far back do your family have you found that your family went?
We're into to the England area, for instance, in the 1200s.
All right, now y'all were not. Was the church there when you were when did the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints, you know, become part of your heritage?
Not until 1930.
1930.
Or 1830, I'm sorry.
Did it really started? Did it start in America, or where did it start, in England, or where did it start?
Okay, mine actually, it was a little bit later than that, but it started in Denmark.
Yeah.
And at least the church, the people,
Yeah.
and but others in the Scotland and England area and Scandinavia.
So you followed your heritage all the way back to England then?
England and Denmark and Germany and
how,
a few others.
All right, do you think some of us could actually go back that far, or what?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yes, definitely.
I mean, find out where that boat came from. You mean?
Yes.
You know, Columbus, he didn't land in South Carolina. He landed up north, didn't he? Or where did
he actually landed in the Caribbean islands.
Oh, did he? So he really...
Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I got you. So how about you? Now, how far have you been able to track your relatives?
My father's side goes back quite a bit, and of course, last week we talked about the Neff family, and but my mother's side of the family were Hungarian Jews that came over to the States in some of them came early 1870s, and then some of them came 1890s.
Then some of your people might have gone through Holocaust. You think?
They probably have some ancestors, children, or grandchildren that went through the Holocaust.
Well, this is very good information, and I hope people have found it to be interesting. And now, on their regular computers, how far can they pick something up without having to go through y'all? You know, is there any way for them to pick it up?
Oh yeah, they can do it themselves once they learn how to.
Yeah, exactly.
How to
And
do
so
it.
this is going to be something that not only you can do, you can pass it on to your children, and I think it's very important. At least I do. I mean, I care about where my family came from, and got a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Coffee County and parts of Pike County, and on over into Georgia. And then of course I think it goes all the way back into South Carolina and whatever.
Well, we were looking at mainly the 1900 census, and the census in the United States actually started in 1790, but between 1790 and 1850, they just list the head of the father's name, and then they would mark off how many females and how many males were in the families. But from 1850 on, you can find the whole families.
Yeah.
Their names.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I thought was quite interesting, I want to say it was the Revel family. One of the Revels had 11 children. Is that right?
That's
Y'all
right.
saw that. So, but and then of course, you know, the Civil War. There were so many of these people that were killed, and a lot of times you can find out who you know, your ancestors fought in the war and who survived the war. You know,
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of information you can get on military.
Joel, you still on?
Yes.
I woke him up. Hey, I reckon you found this out to be interesting.
I didn't want you to talk
Ladies and
about
gentlemen,
me by hanging up on
I
you.
called him up and I woke him up. He's gonna be waiting for me, I bet. But I do appreciate you being here, Joel. And Linda, I'm sure your wife's sitting back listening and so this, and you know she can track her family. Is that right? The
Absolutely.
Smith family, the Smith. Isn't that right?
Yeah, they
But you would think the Smith family would be
her
a
mother
pretty.
was a Smith. I wonder how quick that one could go back.
You know, I wonder, Joseph.
Many Smiths as there are.
The common names are a little bit harder to do. You probably need to know.
Well, Joseph Smith founded the
Right.
That's right.
church. Yeah.
But the common names are a little bit harder. You just need to have to probably dig a little bit harder. I had 2 Millers that were married to each other, and they weren't related to each other. So.
Yeah. And it might be some things that people you're related to that you don't want to be related to. You don't want anybody to know you're related to them. Yeah, it's sort of fun. And again, I do appreciate you guys coming in. You're great people. And hey, drop by and get that milkshake. They've got ice cream now. Y'all drop by and get it today or whenever, and or go by and have breakfast at Birds on me. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed our show today. Different, but I hope you found it to be interesting because I was cut and dry, Joel. I just sat down here and she brought that information. I was cold turkey, buddy. But we knew enough to make it happen. Thanks to you, Joel. Now you can tell he's been more involved in it than me. But and those comments he made really helped us find.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
And Joel, we appreciate you for doing that. My mother would have appreciated us doing it. Let me just say this. Isn't that right, Joel? She would have loved to know. She would have been watching every bit of this, wouldn't she?
Yeah, very much so.
My mother was so conscious of who she was and where she was from. Bullock County, Alabama, mostly from where she came from. And what she always said, the greatest people in the world live in Bullock County, Alabama. There have been some great people to go through there. Well, she would have loved it, wouldn't she, Joel?
She was what?
She would have loved all this, wouldn't she?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And hopefully,
very interested in that. She's got a stack of stuff somewhere. I think I gave our brother Bill a stack of it, and I kept a stack, and we got it put back.
Something we need to know is a phone number. Can we get a phone number?
Yeah.
Or are you allowed to call
absolutely.
people on the phone now? All these missionaries can't do that.
We can.
All right, go ahead. What is your number?
801
801
791
791
5544.
5544. And how long have y'all been in Troy now?
A month today.
Do you like it?
Yes.
Have people responded well to you?
Oh, yes.
And
We
you
really,
found
we really like it.
our library. Well, y'all gonna go ahead and settle here and start. But let somebody 2,000 years from now pick up where you came from.
We'll be here for 2 years anyway.
Well, that is wonderful. And this is just something of your own doing. Is that right? Are you working for the church? Or?
No, we're volunteers.
We're service.
Yeah, and you picked
We're
Troy,
service
Alabama.
missionaries.
Well, they picked it for us.
Had you ever heard of Troy before you got here?
No.
In football.
Yeah, yeah, right. 801-791-5544. We played Southern Utah in football here before, and we played Utah State in football here before. Not too long ago. The Utah State game was a mud bath. We were redoing our stadium, and it was one of their guys went over there, and he came out, and he was solid mud. You remember that game, Joel?
Yeah.
And that was Utah State.
About that.
They won the ball game. Y'all ended up winning the ball game.
A lot of rain that day.
We have a son that graduated from Utah State.
Yeah, okay. And well, a friend of ours that used to be the athletic director here is out there at Utah State now. And, that's just been 2 or 3 years ago. Hope you've enjoyed our show again. This number, if you need to call for one-on-one.
That's right.
One-on-one stuff is 801-791-5544. these are delightful people, and they're here just to provide this service to you. And today,
talking to y'all.
Thank you so much. Today, from 3 to 7 p.m., you can come in any time during that period of time at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on the Elba Highway. And again, bring your computers and whatever. And it's going to be a very, this will be something that will put a smile on your face. I promise you.
Absolutely.
You're looking back and seeing who and where you came from. Legacy, is that right?
Our legacy.
People are living a legacy, is that right?
That's correct.
And of course, we appreciate y'all so much. Hope you enjoyed our show today, and we'll see you bright and early in the morning for Today in L.A.